Okay, so I got stranded in my electric car.
More expensive to charge an EV, plus we had to sit here for 41 minutes. It's a scam. The whole thing is a scam.
This car actually made me extremely broke because I bought this car for $130,000. 130 grand for this piece of crap. And now it's worth a cool like $45,000.
This is just a little taste of what's in store for today's video. We're discussing these EVs and all their problems.
I gotta keep it real. I think I'm over this EV shit. I just got off work. Been at work since 5 this morning. Well, 6 this morning. I have to now detour to charge this dumb shit. I'm stuck here. And look how much cars are waiting to charge. Why is there not more charging stations, dude? And I'm stuck here because I don't have enough battery to get home. And the car takes forever to fucking charge. And I have other things to do. It's already 3:09. I have to go to physical therapy by 5 o'clock. This does not work. It just doesn't work. Like, I'm actually very annoyed. And
Here's an example of someone who didn't do enough research on how long the average charge times are on electric vehicles. They seem sweet at first with all their new technology, and the next thing you know, you're spending hours using it every day instead of using it.
If you ever feel bad about yourself, you're down in the dumps, maybe you made a decision that wasn't very wise, I just want you to remember that there is someone out there driving a Tesla Cybertruck. As we speak, there are real human beings in a fucking Cybertruck posted up driving the streets. And that fact alone should make you feel infinitely better about yourself and your situation. I never understood the appeal behind Cybertrucks because you are willingly choosing to drive the ugliest vehicle that you could get your hands on. You're driving a Polygon with wheels, the fucking car equivalent of a shoebox. You're just whipping that out and about in public. Every single time that I see a Cybertruck, I feel nothing but despair and agony for the poor soul that is paying for that shit out of their own hard-earned money. And that's another thing that gets me. Cybertrucks are not cheap vehicles, right? This costs money. You need money before you can get yourself a Cybertruck. So you have the money, you have the funds necessary to get a good car, and you chose to get this shit. Why are you torturing yourself? That's the part that really doesn't compute in my brain. This is like a dildo in the hands of the wrong lesbian. Fucking Magnum triple XL condoms in the hands of someone that has a micro penis. You have the means necessary to get a good fucking car, but you went with a Cybertruck. And I don't know, maybe the Cybertruck superfans can correct me on this. I am completely open to being in the wrong, but if you wanted an electric vehicle with all of the bells and whistles that a Tesla has, could you not have just gotten a normal Tesla? Why the fuck did you buy a Cybertruck? Oh, because you wanted the utility of having a truck, but it also needed to be electric? You know, I think in 2025, there are electric trucks out there that are not ugly as shit, and that's all that I have to say.
Along with the Cybertruck looking bad, like he points out in the video, it's also depreciated an insane amount. So if you ever feel bad about yourself, just know you don't drive a money pit electric vehicle most consider an eyesore. Let's hope if you're driving one today, watching this, it's a rental.
This car actually made me extremely broke because I bought this car for $130,000. 130 grand for this piece of crap. And now it's worth a cool like $45,000. I've lost like $80,000 or $90,000 with this stupid car.
Just like the last video, these electric vehicles depreciate like no other. So if you plan on getting one, make sure you do your research and don't get one new. Don't hit yourself with awful lot depreciation. But if you do end up getting one used, just make sure it has a good battery and it's going to keep charged for a long time.
I need that to go down. Go down. What the hell? So it says on my app, so this car is linked to my Tesla app. It says there's a $20.28 unpaid balance for this car. So I owe the previous owner's unpaid balance before it releases the charging port, maybe? I don't know, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna link my credit card and pay that other person's balance and see if it will let me charge and drive the car that I own now. Imagine if someone didn't pay their gas bill and the next owner can't use a car until the previous owner's gas bill is... Ridiculous. Computer cars, ridiculous. So I just paid somebody else's $20.28 balance, and we're back to square one. That little tab, still not unlocking. So apparently, let me turn my flashlight on. Inside the trunk, there's a manual release for that tab somewhere. So I'm supposed to be able to manually lower that tab in here. I don't know how. I'm gonna have to learn. Okay, I got it. There is not a red little tab like the internet said. There's a gray little tab in there. You push that forward and it lowers the charger lock, and that's how you release the charging lock. So right now we should be charging. This is on. I'm gonna throw this in here, throw this whole cable in here, and I'm gonna just close the door. There we go. So it should be, let me see if it's charging. Charging disabled when using manual release. You're kidding me, right? Okay, so when you manually release that charging port, it won't charge the car. Charging disabled when using manual release. Close charge port and retry. So just to recap, I have 9% battery life, but my car is stranded with no battery. It won't move. I brought power and a Tesla charging cable to charge the Tesla, but I can't manually release the tab that's locked, because if I do, it won't let me charge the car that needs to be charged, because nothing will work unless it's charged. That's how electric vehicles work. Close charge port and retry. I just did a hard reset and it said ready to charge, but now it says charging disabled when using manual release. I don't have a option. I don't have an option.
Could you imagine having to pay for someone else's gas bill on a used vehicle you just legitimately purchased? You save yourself a bit of money on maintenance without having an engine and oil changes, but you need to be ready to expect the unexpected with these wacky cars and their wacky issues.
Yeah, it's great. Get an electric car. Fucking snow on the ground. I am charging my car at an apartment complex. I don't know where the fuck I'm at. But because when you turn the heat on in these piece of shit cars, the mileage goes down. So now I started here at 98 miles. I'm here 25 minutes. It went up 1 mile. What a great investment this was. Sitting in the snow and the cold, watching my car charge. My neighbor finally caught on to me. You know what? I'm going to his house right now. I'm going to try to outmaneuver him because this is insane.
Yikes. As I've said before, you need to do your research before buying an electric vehicle. It's not like a gas car where you can just be in and out in a few minutes at the pump. Although he didn't help himself by buying an electric Hummer, I can only imagine how long a tank like that needs to charge and how much money it probably costs to fill that up.
Okay, so I got stranded in my electric car. Here are the pros and cons about owning an electric car. Obviously, gas prices are going way over $4 a gallon for regular. That's a benefit. I put about $7 worth of charge on my car just now and got about 180 miles for $7. And so that's pretty good. The not having an engine, not having to worry about things like tune-ups, oil changes, or anything associated with an engine that would take from the life of the car over time. Brakes. The car, or at least the Tesla, has what is called regenerative braking. That means when you take your foot off the gas, it automatically powers the battery to give you more range. So it slows down without you having to put your foot on the brake, so your brakes can last virtually the life of the car almost. There are many different positive perks. It's a fun car and all that good stuff. People love the roof when they get in, right? Here's what you got to understand about an electric car. Number one, you're not going to get the range that you would get from a gasoline car. You can get close to it. So when you take trips, you're not going to get there as fast. Now, you can beat everybody there with your speed. However, you're going to lose because you're going to have to stop and charge, and you cannot get around it. And so as long as you're okay with having to stop and charge, I was stranded because I didn't realize that my range is taken away even if I'm just sitting in a car. See, there's no buttons to turn it off or anything like that. I use my phone as a key, so it's like when I get in, I can just drive. Get out, it locks itself and all that stuff. So I was sitting in a car and did not know that it was taken away from the range, and so I went down to below zero. And so that's how you get stuck. Now, they cannot bring you an extra charge. You're going to have to be towed on a flatbed to the charging station. But overall, I still like the car. I think for a secondary vehicle, I'm in. The Cybertruck is ugly. I think someone would have to give me that. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
A pro people always mention is you save money at the pump, but they fail to mention that you end up paying double the value in your time while also paying a whole new car payment. If you get stranded, you're screwed. You can't just pour gas into it and drive off like you can with a normal car. You have to get towed to charging station, and from there you have to wait for it to
Tell me what's going on
charge.
and how maybe I can help.
The reason we were trying to get a Tesla there is financially we need a better financial car, because right now we have a Honda Pilot, which we're spending about $200 in gas, and our payment's like $640. So we were looking to get something cheaper, and we really like Tesla. So we went over there to get that. Unfortunately, I didn't realize insurance is a whole lot more expensive for Teslas, and to get the charger on the house is going to be like $5,000.
When you say the charger's $5,000, tell me more about that.
We only have a 100 amp panel on it. It needs to be upgraded to 200. My brother is an electrician, and I was asking him about it, and that alone is going to be about $3,000.
Okay, so there's a really inexpensive alternative that will work well for you. You can go to a 220 dryer plug, and it'll get you to about an 80% charge overnight.
I don't really have 220 near my garage. Like my panel's in the back of my house with my washer and dryer.
What I'm trying to figure out is you came in here a couple of times, so you thought about a Tesla for a while, and we're all adults, and you did some research. Car's in great shape, all that stuff. And then our finance team worked to get you approval. And so I'm trying to figure out where it's fair and reasonable to help you guys. And I think the charger being on the back of your house, that's not new information. I don't know. I'm not sure how that impacts returning the car, kind of a thing.
That was one of the major things. There are a couple of factors, because the price of the car monthly that I could afford is not much than what I'm doing right now. And so when it boils down to is it's not worth switching right now. It doesn't seem like it's worth it. So I didn't figure it would be too much of a hassle to help me out and cancel our contract.
We could have maybe sold that car to somebody else. I don't know. But I do know that you signed a contract and we did our part. You knew what the car payment was when you signed the papers. You knew what the interest rate was. You knew that you were going to need a charger and stuff. So it's just a little frustrating that cold feet or buyer's remorse. And I'm going to do it for you, just so you know. I don't want to put you in a bad spot. It just feels like we're taking the responsibility for your lack of research or your lack of homework.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Oh, I'm just being candid. It's just like I said, it's just rough because all the things you've described, none of them were a surprise. It's just a little bit of extra work for us and risk. And I'm just wondering if you think that all falls on us or if you guys have any responsibility for that.
You're right. I'm at your mercy.
Look, man, I'm going to unwind it and we're going to take the car back and you're not going to owe us anything. I'm going to put it in your lap. I'm going to ask you and your wife to consider if you think that Dalton's time and Nicole's time and our business's time is worth something, because I'm going to do that either way.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Let us know what you and your wife think is fair and reasonable to you. And in the meantime, we'll get the paperwork going and get the thing undone.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
They should have just stuck with a cheaper Honda and their problems would have gone away. I can't see why they would get an electric vehicle now. There's crazy insurance rates. They don't know the prices of chargers. I just feel like it would have been much simpler for these people if they stuck with a Honda. It seems like a car for them. She pretty much smashed it. There's like nothing else I can add.
People don't want used electric cars because they know the batteries degrade.
Oh.
And replacing the batteries is a nightmare right now. It's like they're tweeners. Like the tech is amazing. Driving them is incredible. It's instantaneous acceleration. They're amazing. The Porsche one is fantastic. Same as the Model S. The driving them makes other cars feel so stupid. But the problem is reselling them. You know, like you lose a lot of value in it, as opposed to like if you buy something, you know, like that it's like a BMW. Like say you buy a BMW M3 and then you want to get rid of it in 2 years. It doesn't lose much value. It's still a really valuable car that people want because it probably will behave the exact same way as the day you drove it off the lot, but you can get it now for cheaper. A little cheaper, but not a lot cheaper.
Right.
But not with these e-cars, which is kind of crazy.
You either love them or you hate them. But he's right. These electric vehicles are high reward with all these cool new technologies and fancy features, but they come with an insane depreciation risk that just hits them all.
This is why you don't buy an EV. The Hummer's the problem. The charge stations are the problem. I have no idea. Fairly easy. We just increased our range to 98 miles after waiting around for 45 minutes. But the real question, how much did it cost? I am actually in shock right now. We just sat here for 41 minutes. It cost me $19.80 and we added an additional 64 miles for $20. It is more expensive to charge an EV, plus we had to sit here for 41 minutes. It's a scam. The whole thing is a scam. I am on.
You really can't win at all with these Hummer EVs. They're terrible on battery, they take forever to charge, they have endless problems and issues. I just wouldn't recommend getting this car for anyone. I don't know why you would buy it. There's no pros, and maybe some people like it. But if all these points don't tell you anything, I'll spell it out for you. Do your research before you buy an EV, and if you don't like it, don't get it. Get a normal gas car.